Hey guys, welcome back to Ride with Sheridan. So today's video is a video that I've needed to make for a while, pretty much since this whole thing started. This is a video I've needed to make. And I'm making this because I like to be transparent about the horses and everything, and I can't show you all the good, all the great runs without showing you the bad and the health issues and the scary experiences. So here we go. Also this, if you see a little black on your screen every once in a bit, it's the cat. I will try to keep her out of the way, but there's only so much I can do. I'm going to move this food bowl, so maybe she'll stay out of the way. But this is definitely a video I've needed to make for a long time since I kind of started sharing this with you guys. So that is what we are doing today. This is the Rousey story and update.
I want you so bad.
Okay, so what I would like to begin with is I think we just need a timeline of events because I feel like the timelines are really hazy. Also, don't come at me for standing behind this horse. She doesn't kick. She's never kicked a day in her life. She's the sweetest horse in the face of the earth. She would never kick. Horse, dog, person, anybody. She would never kick. So I think we need to start out with just like a timeline of events. So, let's start in December. I made a video, this video, and it was a vet visit. So the vet came out just to check on all the horses, and so basically we learned that Rousey had EPM, and she also had a potentially torn suspensory. We weren't sure. There was just this unexplained lameness, and that's what our vet thought due to her being lame through a nerve block. So, whole month of December she spent off until New Year's weekend. We took her to the Ashley Brooks Memorial where our vet was, and he was able to give her a look at and say she's cleared of EPM. She was cleared of, she didn't have a suspensory tear. She's cleared of EPM, ready to go back into work, which was great because, you know, we didn't know if she was clear of EPM or not, but she was clear of the EPM, ready to go back into work. She'd been on treatments, and she was ready to go back into work. So we got her back into work. I got to run her like 4 times maybe. Hi, Mama. I think I got to run her 4 times before. Thanks. I think I got to run her 4 times before we had to deal with this. So the first thing we had to deal with is she'd been doing good. I took her to a jackpot and ran her twice, and she wasn't quite right. She wasn't doing her back end quite right, but we just knew that something was not quite right with her, but we weren't really sure what. So, hi, Mama. But we thought that maybe it was a little more EPM. So, we were planning on treating that, but after we went to that jackpot, she's trying to untie herself. She came down with a pretty bad little cough. She never really did have a fever, but she had a pretty bad cough and got pretty sick. So she was out for there about 2 weeks, I want to say. So we get her back from the sickness, and I was able to get back on her. And so I get back on her, and she could barely circle. She was super wobbly. She had a lot of trouble, especially working circles around her barrels. She was just having a lot of trouble. She's very bouncy and wobbly and not getting her back in. And we could just tell something was off. She was just not right. She's very wobbly, not good. So we were like, all right, we'll just walk, trot her under saddle only. So we were walking, trotting under saddle only, and it got to where she wasn't very good at a trot gait either. So since she wasn't very good at a trot gait, we decided to just, okay, we're not going to do anything, and we're going to start a PPM treatment on her because that's got to be the answer. So she's on the EPM treatment, and we've just noticed this. We definitely know it's EPM, we think. We don't definitely know, but we pretty much do. But this round of EPM is much worse than the first round. One of her big signs when she had EPM was constant drinking of water, but she wasn't drinking it as bad as she is now. But now she'll be eating her dinner and have to trot back and forth from her water to her feed because she's thirsty. she gets extremely dehydrated very, very quickly. The other thing that was a major symptom, and this was a symptom the first time, is when she, so if you guys notice, her tail is bleached at the bottom. The reason her tail is bleached is when mares pee, they lift their tails. Well, Rousey was not lifting her tail enough because she couldn't feel it because EPM's nervous system. And so we had her back better, and then she started not being able to lift her tail up high enough again. So we knew that was a cause. She started not crossing her back feet correctly, being very lazy, very slouchy. Her eyes got lazy again. The other thing we noticed is she lost a significant amount of weight along her top line. I mean, I had her strong top line built up. And this is all still pretty good, but she lost some muscle down her top line and in her butt too. She kind of lost some muscles and things like that. And so we were kind of like, we thought it was EPM, but we weren't 100% sure. You know, it was just kind of playing it by ear. We were like, is it EPM? Is it not? We really don't know. But we were mostly sure. So we got her back on treatments. And then today, actually, I was like, this horse just, it's not good. You know, and my dad is a vet. So he took some blood on her. And he took it back to work, ran it. And because we were concerned about kidney failure, because she had a lot of the symptoms of kidney failure in horses, and that is not good. So we checked to see if she had kidney failure. No kidney failure, which is great. So that means the EPM is causing all of this, which is good and also bad. That's Lucky kicking the wall at Bentley because he's evil. Anyhowsies. The other thing is her hair coat is super dull and super long right now and just doesn't look good, you know. My horses all have really nice hair coats because they're eating super high quality feed, getting super high quality hay, and this hair coat is just, it's not good. It's not a good hair coat. It's not good quality hair, you know. And her mane also was very shiny, and it's just dull and not good. Body condition wise, not how she is supposed to look. So after all that, basically we are back to, she's going to have to need at least 2 more weeks off riding. That's the bare minimum. Because EPM makes riding worse, which is why she got worse. Or riding makes EPM worse, which is why she got worse, you know, after she's brought back. She's trying to eat my velvet, so let me stop her. Anyway, she is off riding for at least 2 more weeks. Me personally, I think it'll be longer, you know, in the regards of her running again. When, if, I really don't know. Who knows? They are having the Ruby Buckle out in April at the Lazy E, and we weren't thinking we were going to be able to go due to scheduling conflicts, but we certainly aren't now because Rousey, we don't see any way she will be healthy enough to go by then. Same reason she's sending the Patriot out. She's not going to be healthy enough to go by then. I'm looking at May, June, just hopefully. I mean, that's the earliest I would say, but who knows? It could be until a year from now. We have no way of knowing how long it's going to take. EPM is a very, 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 very slow treatment process. And so I thought I'd talk a little bit in case you guys don't really know what EPM is. Hi, Mama. So EPM affects their nervous system. So basically EPM is when they get a bunch of little bitty tiny, like bacteria-sized parasites, and it's in their nervous system. And so basically, EPM can affect a horse however it wants. Typically, back end is affected very strongly. They have a lot of issues with staying coordinated back here. But basically everything else, it's a free-for-all. Lucky had it pretty bad, and he had a complete personality change. She's not had a complete personality change. It is really just dependent on your horse and what happens with your horse. Hi, Mom. But this one, these have been her symptoms, and, you know, that's what our vet diagnosed us. So when she got to those symptoms again, we were just like, all right, time to put her back on the EPM. And she is just kind of hanging out. I mean, we're doing all we can. Anyway, I got sidetracked. What I was saying about the EPM is it's these little bitty tiny bacteria-sized animals that are living in their nervous system. And so they make everything get inflamed. And the drugs you use to treat them, here's my bottle. I don't know the name. My mother told me it because she's also a vet. This is what she's on for EPM. My mom told me the name of it, but honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I forgot. But there's drugs that are like antibiotics, and they kill everything off. But then I believe it's called a stagnant, but I'll put it on the screen, whatever it's called. And that just basically, it fights off the infection, but it can't really, infection is not the right word, but that's what the drugs do. They fight it off, but they don't necessarily clear it. So that is the only available treatment for EPM. There's lots of different ones, but they're all stagnants. They're all fighting it off, not killing it. There is no way to kill it that has been found. No drug that can do that can completely just wipe it out of their system. So basically, it will be in her system forever. Horses who get EPM, once they get it the first time, they have it the rest of their lives. And they have things called flare-ups from time to time, which are usually caused by stress or a change in scenery or something that causes them to flare up, such as that they're sold or something like that. So basically, it will be in her system the rest of her life. And it depends. Sometimes flare-ups only happen, once every few years. Sometimes it's very rapid. Hers is very rapid. I would more call it a relapse than a the word, flare-up, because it just came back so quickly. But Lucky, when he had it, was a flare-up. And as far as we know, this is a first time because of how bad it is. Horses, when they have flare-ups, they have the symptoms, but they're not typically near as bad as this, which is why we think it's her first time with EPM. So basically, EPM will be in her system the rest of her life, and it's just fighting it off when it comes back. When they get stressed or something happens, those little animals, they get all excited and they wake up and they start breeding again and they start moving, and the horses freak out again. Horses are affected by it again. And so we think this is the first time. So the way EPM is typically transmitted through possums. It doesn't have to be. It's not something that all horses, it's not transmittable or anything. And all horses, I believe there's a saying that all horses will test positive for EPM because they've all been exposed to it, but it doesn't affect them all. It's typically transmitted through possums, through the grass. I believe rats can be a carrier, but I may be wrong. Mainly possums. Possums is the main transmitter. So there's no telling when she picked up the EPM. She could have picked it up as a 2-year-old in Texas, and it's just now showing itself. Or she could have picked it up, any time, before I owned her, during me owning her, and it just started affecting her at some point. My personal theory is that it kind of got woken up. She went to the trainer for a couple months after I got her, and personally, I think it got woken back up. That was a very high stress environment for her, and I personally think that was when it kind of got woken back up, is when she was put into that high stress environment. I think that kind of made it come back. And like I said, it's not going to make all horses EPM come back, but not come back, but start. And I believe that is what happened with her. That's just my personal theory. So the thing about testing for EPM is typically EPM is diagnosed off of clinical signs, because the way you test for EPM, I believe I have this right, is you have to completely put the horse under, so it's a surgical procedure, and you have to do a spinal tap, or I believe there's a cranial tap, but mainly it's a spinal tap. And we really don't want to put her through that. That's super risky. Putting horses down on the surgery table is risky in general because they can dislocate their shoulders or their knees while they're getting up. Super, super risky. So we obviously are not going to do that. We're treating based off clinical signs. And if we do enough EPM treatment and we don't think that's the answer, then we'll try for something else. Very glad that it didn't end up being kidney failure, which didn't explain all her symptoms, but explained some. But basically, we just think it's all EPM. And we think she picked it up, so basically, it's just going to be fighting it off. The way we are treating it is that bottle I showed you. no riding, and also periodic PHT mask and blankets sessions, because those are supposed to be very nice and very helpful for EPM, because it can also give them pretty good headaches, and it's supposed to help with that, help with the relaxing them. So that's kind of where we're at. Like I said, regarding running her again, I have no idea when or even if at this point. We really just don't know. It's kind of just a guessing game. I'm trying to think if there's anything I left out, but that's pretty much what we know now, and all we know right now, and there's not much else we can do other than what we're doing. Obviously, we will keep doing our best, trying to get her healed up. I want her back on the trailer as soon as possible, but I'm also just mainly concerned about getting her healthy and happy again, and not in this state, you know. But I really just mainly want to get her back happy and healthy. But I'd also love to have her back on the competition rig soon. So that's the Rousey update. That's where Rousey's been. That's why Rousey was better and able to ride, and then suddenly off again. And then she was better after the first EPM, and then she, was back bad again from getting sick with, I don't even know what she was sick with, like a cold. And then now we're back to EPM. So this horse has just had the most, the health issues, man, are just like, phew, so many. So that is everything. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye.
I got a thing for the hard lick on ice. Short days and long nights. Marbles at the window.